Greetings everyone, it's me, That Ghost, and I'm back with my Real Vampire stream. If anyone's wondering why it cut off, some personal information of mine popped up in this thing that popped up on the screen, so I ended the stream, and then I edited the stream to edit out that last bit, which is going to slowly re-upload. So now I'm back to continue the stream. So, on the Hunter thing, when you go to the Hunter website, it has all these names mentioned, and every time I did research of them, Reddit and some other groups on like Quora and stuff were claiming that it's fictional characters, but I couldn't find out what book series, TV, whatever it is. So I'm going to go back to the Hunter website, which is... Let's close out of Reddit here. Just upset says zombies don't exist, which I personally agree. I think the closest you can get to a zombie is if you have that Cotard's, I don't know, it's called whatever other, like, Cotard's delusion, Cotard's delusion. It's when you believe that you're undead, or you believe that you're dead or dying. But yeah, I believe these are fictional characters. I believe this is all in reference to some sort of book or movie series or TV show, you know, because people have done that before. Like back when BBC's Sherlock was really cool, they had websites for both Sherlock and John that would be updated, stuff like this. So I believe that the creator of this website is mistaken in believing that someone unironically believes this, because when you go to the home and everything, this is clearly... I would want to go to their Twitter and Facebook, but I'm afraid it's going to reveal more of my personal information. But yeah, I personally believe this is fiction. Yeah. Yeah, it says for entertainment purposes only. I'm not going to do a deep dive into this today, because today I wanted to do a look into real vampires, not fictional stuff. I might return to this. I'm planning on this being the first of many streams. I'm having a lot of fun just going through websites. So if there's another topic someone wants to discuss, like if someone joins my Discord, which the link is in the description below, which if you're a member of the Discord, you can also join me in this review. Like, I kept inviting my friends to join a Discord call, and we'd all review the websites together and discuss, like, well, which one of us would be a vampire? Like, what do you guys think of this site? And everyone was busy. But yeah, in the future, when I do future streams, if you want to join, you can. Just join my Discord in the description. Join a voice call when I'm streaming, and we can stream together. Also, while I was editing, I realized how annoying my face bubble was, and that I should have put it at the top right, because sentences in English read from left to right, so I was covering up the beginning of every sentence instead of covering up the end. And I made my face bubble smaller. I'm going to learn. This was the first of many streams where I review websites. In the future, I'll review this. I'll review other websites. People in Discord can say, hey, this is a weird website. Would you like to review it together? And I will. And obviously, I'll check first. I've checked all these websites first to make sure they're YouTube appropriate and to make sure they're not advocating for violence or hate speech, you know. But, yeah. Like, they're updating as new as today. Or, yeah, today's the 15th, I think. Anyway. Yeah, Steve... Oh, not this. This is our next website. Steve, I'm sorry, but I don't think your Hunter's thing is accurate. So, out of all this, I think the only one left to do is how to get blood, and then we can move on to another website, getting blood. How to get blood. Yogurt is not a substitute for blood, and that is how I found this. You might say, Ghost, this is with the Wayback Machine. Well, the original website was taken down, but I found the links to it in a blog post, and I put the links in the Wayback, and in here they say yogurt's a substitute for blood. So it's clear that this website had beef with this website at some point. And you can tell which one won, because even though this website isn't secure, it's still online, where this website is no longer online. You have to use Wayback to find it. So, Real Vampire, vampirewebsite.net won. Like, they won. I'm gonna sneeze, give me a second. besides going back on Discord and inviting everyone again, hey, join me on my stream. I also got myself a Dr. Pepper because I'm thirsty, and I forced myself to eat some food, even though I'm not hungry, because I haven't eaten anything today because I had one piece of toast and I threw it up. I'm making myself eat because even though I hate eating, after I eat, I'm in physical pain because I think I have Crohn's disease. And after I eat, I am in emotional pain. I ate a teeny bit of food. So, this page is about getting safe, legal blood, not close to a vein, avoid lethal methods of bleeding, the real substitute for animal blood, red blood cells, chewing beef jerky. Interesting. So I guess if you're overly processed ones won't work at all. Okay, yeah, I actually have, I eat a lot of, like, beef and pork jerky, and then I also eat squid jerky. I eat that a lot. It really helps with my focus. I don't know why, but, like, when I feel dazed and out of it, eating jerky makes me feel more focused. Like, I eat it in school. Well, in school. I do online school. I eat it at my desk at home with my school computer here. Virgin blood. This is a little bit... I personally don't like beliefs where it's saying that, like, virginity really affects you as a person. Because I don't think it does. And, like, when a spell says it needs a virgin blood, or it needs the candle to be lit by a virgin, that doesn't mean what you think virgin means. It means that they haven't... It means that they're a virgin in the sense of witchcraft. So if it says you need blood of a virgin, it means you need blood from a person who's never had their blood or hair or nails used in a spell before, because that makes it extra potent. Or, you know, if a virgin needs to light a candle, it means someone who hasn't been, like, inducted into witchcraft needs to light the candle. Stuff like that. Which here, I believe they're saying virgin in the outdated sense, which I don't subscribe to the notion that whether or not you've had sex changes you. I don't think it would change your blood. I don't think it would do that, personally. Which, if you disagree, like, if you're a real vampire and you comment down below, like, actually, I strongly prefer virgin blood, it's better, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you know, I don't drink blood, so I wouldn't know, but I personally like that. So for humans, find an emote. I don't like that one. I won't say that's offensive, but, you know, don't drink pig blood. Yeah, that's how you get tapeworms. I find it weird that on their, like, top 10 lists of blood, the top 10 is, like, virgin... Oh, real vampire... Okay, so the top blood to drink is vampire blood, then human... Oh, I need to plug in my computer. I thought it was plugged in this whole time. So the blood hierarchy goes other vampires' blood, then human blood for energy workers, like witches and stuff, then normal human blood, then lamb, then pig, which, in my opinion, if you're going to do a top 10, don't include things that aren't safe on the top 10, because it makes people think, oh, but pig is in 5th place, so I want to drink pig blood. It's like, don't. Please, whatever. I've only ever had, I think, like, human blood and cow blood, I think, in my lifetime. Well, I know that I know that I've had both. If someone's gonna wonder, Ghost, how did you have cow blood? You can buy, like, an entire cow heart from grocery stores, and you can cook and eat it. And yeah, they do wash out the heart, and they do other stuff to it, but besides the normal, like, meat juice on the meat that I described in the last bit of this live stream, when you eat an animal's heart, yeah, there is blood in it. And because I like to eat my meat rare to medium rare, yeah, I've had cow's blood, and I personally do very much enjoy the flavor. They said it's in 7th place. Okay, so Steve, the author of this website, really doesn't like cow blood, which, to each their own. And again, if I'm just a human and not a real vampire, maybe humans really like cow blood, and vampires really don't. You know, who knows? Getting blood rare steak, I eat that all the time. Certain cuts of steak, or, like, types of steak, look like, cooking them, they're already rarer than others. Like, a rare hanger steak is more rare than, like, a rare skirt steak and stuff like that. You know who let this ranch up? Oh yeah, a lot of like Russian and like Eastern European recipes have blood in them. But yeah, I think we've exhausted everything on this website that I'm like either interested in or I just feel is appropriate to discuss. So let's go to the drama, the site that was against this Awaken Drink. So when we pop into Awaken Drink, we're on the guide to vampirism, which that's something interesting. And maybe also psionics, but like chat room, it's a dead website. I don't care about chat room, forum, home. Like it's a guide to vampirism. So let's see, how would they introduce the vampire to someone? So in our last website, they introduced it as humans, but further evolved from an androgenic retrovirus. And if I'm saying that incorrectly, comment down below how to say it, or pop into Discord and say it. Because when I learn a word from reading, I say it the way it looks. So vampires, and they're spelling it a fun way. They're spelling it with a Y. I've spelled it that way before, because I think that's like some sort of European way. I don't know. I like that spelling better, to be honest. So they're real, and they live among us. The author here is a vampire, just like the author of the last website. And the public views of vampirism are different than what's reality. Yep, that makes sense. They say Twilight. Alright, so this author's called Zane. Apparently Twilight made all the humans love vampires and stuff. So now when vampires make their presence known, so Twilight made people Google vampires, which make them find real vampire sites like this and others, which we are on, another one. That makes vampires known, which the last person was saying that vampires, they might not accept the truth. Alright, so the last website was like, people discover vampires and we all need to come out to them so we can all control the image vampires have. And I agree with that more than I agree with this. Like, I feel like not tolerating misinformation, I think that's good. You may not agree with all posts on the site unless you challenge it with an argument, and the information will not change. Okay. And this website is not for lifestylers, role players, or blood fetishists. That makes sense. This is a vampire website. Hey, cool. Yeah, this site is completely safe for YouTube. So, Susan Wojcik, I don't know how to pronounce it. YouTube lady. Please don't cancel me for talking about drinking human blood. I'm literally just trying to report on a community that I think is really cool, which are the vampire community. Mature audience only. Yeah, I guess it's just behave mature. I joke a lot in my stream. I've been making jokes about vampires this whole time. I've just been like, you know. So if this is considered immature and disrespectful, I apologize. But I genuinely am just reviewing websites that I found interesting. So, general vampirism. So the last site was saying, I feel like a lot of people probably came to this site when I was going to the last site. When I was in middle school, I remember everyone was obsessed with Twilight, and I never read any of it. Recently, I've seen like the first 3 movies, and I liked the first 2 movies. I liked the first movie, and the second one was like, there were really good parts, but the rest of it sucked. And then after that, I couldn't even finish the series. And this was back when Twilight was entirely free on Amazon. It no longer is, but at one point it was. So I tried to watch all the movies, and I couldn't even do it. So, yeah, this is just covering all the other links here. So let's go to Am I a Vampire? Let's see. In the last one we determined that I might be, but it's unknown. So because it was 20 versus 7 versus 9. No, it was. However, it was divided up. You know what I mean? Like it was 20 saying yes, and a bunch saying maybe, and a bunch saying no. So it's like, who knows? Am I a vampire? Have you been experienced? Okay, let's pull up another notes. Oh, so I have a message on Discord. I'm not going to read it on air because I don't want to... Does Ghost of Vampire Part 2. Oh, wait, it should be... There you go. I don't want to share a message that a friend is trying to send me in, like, confidence with the whole world. So, have I been experiencing headaches increasingly often? Yeah, over the last, few months, I've always had a headache. You have an aversion to bright light. It's not subconscious, it's very conscious, but yeah. Very nostalgic. Yeah, I've been extremely nostalgic lately. I think it's because I'm right about to leave high school forever, so it's crazy. I'm very self-aware. I've been very self-aware my whole life, but very recently doctors have been telling me I'm self-aware all the time. How does people look at you in my eyes? No. When you catch eyes with me. Yeah, that's happened, where I can tell someone's about to look at me or tell someone is looking at me. No, I haven't actually changed my diet at all lately. The only difference is now I can drink Dr. Pepper again. So, ooh, we're not sponsored. I just love Dr. Pepper so much. Oh, I just realized with my new webcam setup, I need to move the notepad over here now. There we go. Well, now I can't read this. Maybe here. There we go. Has there been an unidentifiable change in the way you like your meats prepared? No, I've liked my meat rare to medium rare my entire life. Do you suddenly like your fruits and vegetables raw rather than cooked? No, I've liked them raw my whole life. I don't like cooked vegetables. In soup, it's different. I like soup. But, if someone's like, here's some stir fry, I'd be like, oh, no thanks. But if someone's like, here's, a raw piece of celery, I'd be like, yummy, yummy. Which I guess if you were moved to Newfound, a lot of these would be yes instead of no, because I've been so my whole life. So maybe this is if you're awakening as a vampire and I already am one. Yeah, now I'm gonna start over, and I'm gonna answer it different. I'm gonna answer when it says have you experienced a Newfound, I'm gonna pretend they mean do you feel this way? Because let's say I'm a vampire and I have been forever, this wouldn't be a new issue, this would be an issue my whole life. So I'm restarting, which this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not claiming, guys, I am a vampire. I'm checking on that site and it said maybe. I'm checking on this site, it says yes. I just want to start over. Do you have headaches? Yeah. Do you hate light? Not 3. Yeah. Are you really nostalgic? Yeah. Are you very self-aware? Yeah. No to this one. People aren't always staring at me. Most of the time, they're just not looking at me at all. When people do stare at me, I feel it. It makes my skin feel bad. Have I... with this one, that one's still a no, even though I do eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's not like it... I wouldn't say it's more than a normal person. Do you have a newfound fondness for vegetables raw? Well, I've always liked them raw. Raw food is great. Pardon that voice crack. Do you like your meat medium now? No, I like it medium rare or rare. I'm just gonna say yeah. When you eat not so cooked foods, the headaches go away. I don't remember. When someone gives me good steak, I'm not like, wow, let me analyze my head and see if it still hurts. When you're alone in a position where you normally feel lonely, do something find yourself not so lonely, at peace even. No, when I feel lonely, I just cry. And then I message all my friends on Discord. Like, hey guys, someone talk to me. Do you know what's wrong during the smell? Yeah. Oftentimes, I can smell food cooking better than other people. I'll be up in my room at 6 a.m. debating whether or not to go downstairs. And I'll smell, the smallest bit of butter and the smallest bit of something else. I'll be like, oh, my mom's making eggs again. And I go down, and she, just started making eggs. It's like, yep, I smelled it. Favorite meals and treats someone more bland tasting. Yeah, I noticed that sugar and stuff doesn't taste as good to me as it used to, which it still does taste great. That's why I'm drinking Dr. Pepper, the 23 flavor drink. But there's a lot of things that I used to really love, like brownies and popcorn and stuff like that, where now when I eat it, it tastes kind of meh. But that happened around 2 or 3 years ago. I honestly thought when I started testosterone. When I started testosterone, yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. For all I know, starting testosterone makes you just not like food anymore. So I used to like food way more. I mean, I still emotionally didn't like it, and physically my body would reject it. But mentally, I used to be like, tasty. Where now when I eat food, I'm like, I just force myself to eat. My son's about plantain. Yes, that happened with my family a lot. Like, we'd go to a restaurant and be like, ew, they changed the recipe. This food doesn't taste like anything now. And they're like, you have a cold. This food tastes fine. And I don't have a cold because the food still tastes like nothing. And then I said, plants taste. Suddenly become disinterested. Yes, eat a lot. I don't eat a lot, but I do like mindless to eat sometimes, even though I don't like food. So, yeah. This just makes it sound like I have like binge eating disorder or something. I'm sorry. I swear I'm not like time to eat the whole fridge because I'm sad, even though I hate food. I swear it's not like that. Are you still hungry? Or how much you ate? And so slowly stuff like you need something to fill a gap of some sort. Yeah, that's why I've been drinking a lot more water. Because my doctor told me that when you feel hungry, you're actually thirsty. So when I drink 1,000,000 gallons of water a day and then I eat a bunch of food, I still feel hungry. I just need to drink 1,000,000 more gallons of water. Apparently. You suddenly feel equally more energetic at night in the day. No, I feel lethargic constantly. Recently, the past few years, I've been like chronically lethargic, and it's harder for me to do tasks I used to do super easily when I was younger. That just sounds like depression. Are you restless at night? Yeah, it's actually hard for me to sleep, and I do stuff at night, but then I do go to sleep. But I feel just as bad in the day. I just am restless and lethargic instead of just plain lethargic. It's like when you're hungry and not hungry. Like, you can be like really amped up and wanting to do something, but also just wanting to lay in bed and never move ever again. You find yourself becoming, pardon that, I'm just a little bit sick. Increasingly irritable. Yeah, I get frustrated very easily. I get overwhelmed very easily. I'm an emotional little bitch. Have you become somewhat more cynical? I went through a cynical phase, and then I got over it, and I realized that life isn't as bad. So I'd say I'm more cynical than the average person because the way I view love and family and other stuff is mostly negative. But I consider it's not cynicism; it's like realism. Like, I've already accepted the harsh truth of lives. I've already accepted the harsh truths of life. And now that I've accepted those, instead of saying, well, all of life is miserable, woe is me, I've accepted those harsh truths in my cynical phase, and then now I'm realizing, but that's not all of life, and now I'm focusing on the good. So I'd say the average person isn't aware of how bad life is. I know how bad it truly gets, but I also know it doesn't make it any better to focus on the bad. You need to educate yourself and learn how bad things are, and then you need to realize that you have to enjoy the good. You can't only focus on how bad things really are. Like, yeah, life sucks. Go, like, start a garden, or, like, learn a new hobby, or, reconnect with an old friend, because life sucks, but you can make it suck slightly less. Dr. Pepper doesn't suck. Find what makes you happy in life. For me, it's copious amounts of Dr. Pepper littering my room in cans, because my doctor told me I was allowed to drink Dr. Pepper again. So now it's the only thing I'm drinking. I'm kidding. I'm still drinking water. Duh. Like, for health reasons. But if I didn't have a heart condition, I would only drink Dr. Pepper. I'm not even joking. I already said irritable, right? I've always been pretty patient. Yeah, I am pretty patient. I forgot that one. Let me add it. Yeah, I'm patient. I've been dealing with the same people's bullshit for like 5 years. Or 6 years. 7? 8. I'm trying to think when was the first time I had a fight with this one family member of mine. Basically, I've been dealing with a lot of people's bullshit for 18 years, because that's how old I am, and I was born into my family, and then I've been dealing with other people's bullshit for like 3 years, so yeah. And I'm very patient. Am I cynical? I already said yes to that, right? I don't know if my count is correct. I'm gonna say I already counted it. People annoy me. Yes, I think that all the time. I am considered misanthropic by most people because I hate people. Your eyes now turn to the natural color hazel. Yeah, when I was really little, my eyes were like really green and also really blue. And then my dad has blue green eyes, and I say blue green because he calls his eyes green, and then my mom calls his eyes blue. And a lot of his siblings have eyes. Some of them look green, some of them look blue. Like I look at my aunt and I'm like, she has blue eyes. When I look at my uncle, he has green eyes. But if you then took the color side by side, it's the same color, and it's just how the color looks compared to their skin or hair changes if you perceive it as green or blue. Like it's like that picture you see online where it's like gray next to a white and then gray next to black, and the grays look different, but it's the same shade of gray. I'm explaining it wrong, but basically, when I was a kid, I had blue green eyes like my dad, and my mom would tell me that my eyes weren't really green and weren't really blue. They were like special. Now I have hazel eyes. I have a bunch of gold flecks in my eyes, and I have gold red rings around the center of my eyes when my eyes dilate. My eyes changed color when I hit puberty, and my hair changed color when I hit puberty. So that's just normal, but yes. Is there now a ring around that side of the? Yeah, I have that actually. Does the ring flare? I would not know, so I'm gonna add yes for the ring and then maybe for the flare. I don't look at my eye when I'm angry. I'm yelling at someone. I'm not holding up a mirror. Have you noticed they become more persuasive? I mean, some people call me a manipulative asshole. I don't know. Yeah, a group of people. No, I don't. My friends, we're fun. When we meet up, we like just amp each other up. We get more and more energetic. Like, I'll be in a group and we'll just like steadily keep encouraging each other to do dumber and dumber stuff until we're like film. The whole Lorax movie that like started off my channel. When I had a friend over that day, we weren't planning on making the Lorax movie. I already had a friend over and we decided, hey, might as well. Like, the Lorax movie is a good example of what hanging out with me is like. The longer you're around me, the more likely you're gonna do something high energy and stupid. Like, okay, we're gonna film the Lorax 2. Everyone get in the basement, you know? If you hang out with me in real life, I'm gonna encourage you to be in my movie. um, I really like the movie Clue, and we referenced it in Lorax at the end. And recently I've wanted to make Clue 2, and I'd call it something dumb like Clue 2, the Clueing. So if you know me in real life, once we're all vaccinated, let's meet up and film Clue 2. And I want to be Mr. Green, because in the movie he was really cool. In the movie, I didn't like how he was used because I thought we were getting some good gay representation, and at the end he's like, "Just kidding, I'm straight." So in my remake, I'm gonna be Mr. Green, and I'm actually gonna be gay. So we can have a gay main character that solves a mystery and is cool and smart and good representation. Except I'm not gonna be smart. I'm gonna be silly. I don't want to give the wrong idea. My movie's going to be silly and dumb, but it's going to have a gay character that's going to be a respectable character that isn't queer baiting like the original Clue movie. So I just went on a rant. It's like, is your friend group energetic? And I'm like, yes, and I am a strong gay man named Mr. Green coming at you soon in Clue 2, the Clueing. Yeah, let's ignore my crazy rants. I'm gonna start eating more frequently. Sort of. I've been eating and drinking more lately, but I'd say it's because of my heart issues. Picking up with things. Yeah, I pick up on numbers a lot. Like, I'll be like, wow, this is like the 15th stoplight today. And my mom will be like, why were you counting them? And I was like, I wasn't consciously doing it, I just do. Do you know things? Yes. There have been times where I've just like guessed something or made something up about like plants, and then I do my own research later and it's correct. So either my subconscious mind like takes information I have about some plants and assumes they apply to similar ones, but I don't know which plants are. Well, I do know now, but like basically, there have been times where like on the spot, a family member asks me a question about something, and I just say something. I don't know why I say it, and then I Google it later, and what I said was absolutely correct. It's like, oh wow. No, I'm clumsy. I'm a clumsy little bitch. I walk into walls. Like, literally. I've lived in the same house for so long. When I go up and down the stairs, I crash into this wall all the time. So, no. I seem to sidestep them. That's part of the last one, so I'm gonna say no. I run into the walls. When people bump into you, do you think, why don't they know? Yeah, I do. I talked about this in the last one. My friends will walk into me, and I'll be like, stop it. Stay on your side of the sidewalk. So, it should be noted, however, just because you answered yes to every single question does not mean that you're a vampire, because there are logical, non-vampiric explanations. So, likewise, you could be a vampire, but not experience all the traits. Like, if you don't experience 3/4 of them, you might want to rethink how you see yourself as a vampire. So basically, just like the last one, we have roughly 20 and yes, and like less than 14 or whatever and no. So it's still, perhaps I'm a vampire, perhaps I'm not. We'll never know. So I guess both the websites agree that I could potentially be one. One. Because we're doing this through the Wayback Machine, this might take a little time. So while we're here, I'm going to see what messages I was getting on Discord. Oh, it's just my friend agreeing with me that a certain cartoon character is awesome. Yeah, okay, I love this cartoon character, Daria. She's just like the light of my life. When I was in middle school, I owned a bunch of shirts with her. Now I still do own a bunch of shirts with her. Alright, there we go. Daria's great. If she was a real person, I'd like to believe that I'd be in her small group of friends. I know she's friends with like Jane and Jane's brother, and she's arguably friends with some of the kids at her school, but if she's friends with them, she's sort of like me with some of my friends, where she's a little bit too sassy or too flippant, where she might come off as mean. So I honestly can't tell if she's friends. I know she's not friends with Brittany. Sometimes I wonder if she's friends with the other girl who's friends with Brittany. I'm bad with names. Also, I project on Daria a lot because I have a little sister, and Daria has a little sister. And I'm not saying my sister's like Quinn, but I feel like all older siblings have a little bit of like an unspoken bond. Nothing against younger siblings. A lot of my friends are younger/youngest siblings, but when I meet someone who's an older sibling, we usually already have some sort of like connection. We can just feel it. So, vampires are not physically immortal. Vampires are not demons of the devil, of Satan. When it says it's nonsense, I really feel like that's up to individual personal beliefs. Like, if you're a vampire who also does magic or the occult, which I've talked to some vampires on the internet like this, a lot of them feel like they are either spiritually related to Lilith, or that they worship her, or, you know, I feel like a lot of times vampires can be connected to demons or specific gods or goddesses and other stuff like that. So, not repelled by religious symbols. That's true. If I am a vampire, which is it's debatable if it is, I have a Mary candle right here. In my other videos, you can see I have like a cross in my room. Do I consider myself to be Christian? Like, it's not like I would never say that I'm not Christian, but I also feel weird saying that I am Christian. So, I practice witchcraft, but there are such things as Christian witches, so. Vampires, yeah. They do not burn for holy water, yet Catholic vampires would complain. Imagine you're a vampire, and you're just going to church, just minding your business, and then, like, the priest takes the palm leaf and, like, sprinkles the holy water on you, and you're just like... That'd be funny. Vampires are just as likely to be evil as humans. Well, if you define evil by intelligence, like if you say an animal can't be evil because they're not smart enough to know right from wrong, by the last website's definition, saying that vampires are smarter and more advanced than humans, technically vampires would have more of a potential to be evil than humans because they would have more reasoning to know what is right from wrong, where a human could do something evil without ever realizing, where a vampire would be aware. Which, that's probably not what this website means by good and evil, but My definitions of morality and good and evil and other stuff, I don't think reflect what general society would say, because I define everything in a dumb, complicated way. Um, like I'll be like, well, you see, a bee and a wasp cannot be good and evil, but like a human can, and that's because I define evil in this way. And blah blah blah. So, vampires are not necessarily Satanists, Wiccans, pagans, or polytheistic. Then again, they're not necessarily any religion. Vampire can choose what religion they follow just as much as any non-vampire. Yep, anyone can choose what they believe, or anyone can choose not to believe anything. I have multiple good friends and family members that are atheists. And, good on them. I feel kind of bad. I feel like often atheism is kind of left out of a discussion of religion. Like, people will say, all religions are great. Let's show positivity for all religions, and they'll list off all these religions, and I'm really happy that most people are included. But then they never say it's also okay if you're an atheist. We also respect you if you don't have a religion, which I guess it is kind of unspoken. But I feel bad because I know so many people who are atheists. It's like I respect my atheist friends and family just as much as I respect my friends and family who are Christian, who are I actually have multiple friends and family who are pagan and follow different pantheons, and I love them just as much as I love my atheist friends. Vampires are not harmed by silver. I actually wear silver earrings, not right now, but I have these little hoops that I love. Some are allergic to silver, so are non-vampires. I'm actually allergic to a lot of different kinds of metal. Like I have a bunch of earrings that my ears turn green and have like weird stuff when I take them out, but not silver. Vampires can be killed through all these methods that anyone can be killed by. Yeah, I agree with this here. Come here, and I'll show you just how worldly it is. That's funny. Zane, I think, is the name of the author of this website. I really like how Zane is showing personality through their writing. They do not turn to dust when they die, or anything else weird. Vampires do not often heal faster than non-vampires, which that directly contradicts something I saw on the last website. Which, because I only found this website through the last website saying that this website is wrong, I have a feeling the first two websites we're going to review are going to have a lot of disagreement between each other. So again, if any real vampires come across these streams or come across them as videos after they come up, I'd be really interested to have you guys comment and tell me what you personally believe. Like, which of these websites do you think is more accurate? Because if I research this stuff more in the future, which I'd like to, because that's the whole reason I'm making this video, because I wanted to go to a bunch of vampire websites and like discuss stuff. I want to know which ones the general public agrees with more. Vampires do not and cannot shapeshift. Yeah, in my opinion, anyone can shapeshift if you believe in like manifesting physical changes in reality, which I do. Like, I believe if I every single day put like so much energy into like having a different nose or having a different eye color, different ear shape, one day it would actually change. But I also just don't have the time and energy for that. I put all my energy into like YouTube and school and stuff, but I personally believe every single human or vampire or anything that exists is a shapeshifter. Vampires cannot fly unless they're in an airplane. Yeah, again, this is cute and funny. I like that a lot, Zane. They do not flip out when the sunshine happens. And this is vampires do not die in sun, but they do experience photosensitivity, which I have. Frequent headaches, migraines, which I have. Burn sunburns more easily, which I do. Which, again, am I a vampire? I could be, but I could also just be an autistic kid whose mother is from England, not England, is from Scotland and Ireland. Vampires do not only live in the night, but they are more nocturnal than most. Vampires only sleep in coffins if they are eccentric, which, yeah, this is what I was saying in the last website when Steve, when Steve was saying that vampires don't sleep in coffins, I was like, what if a vampire wants to? Vampires do not instantly become sexy or beautiful after their awakening. They do appear quite attractive to humans, even when they don't think they're attractive. They seem to have an allure. That'd be nice if it turns out I am a vampire, if I can sort of like develop and like reinforce. if I'm hypothetically a vampire, and vampires have this like supernatural allure, I don't know how to pronounce words, through meditation, through magic, it would be nice if I could enhance that and have other people see me as cute. I personally don't want to date or marry anyone, but I've always wanted other people to consider me conventionally good looking. Which I know everyone wants that, but for me, it's just, I just think it would be nice if people thought I looked nice. Vampires do not have to keep soil from their native land with them at all times away from their home country. Yeah, that's not vampires, that's Texans. And if you don't believe me, there's multiple stories of people from Texas shipping soil to other countries so they can have their kid born over Texas soil. Like, people from Texas are vampires. It's a fact. If you're from Texas, I'm joking. Yeah. Vampirism is not caused by a virus, which again directly goes against the last website. It's covered here. Yeah, the 5-1. I'll read that after I read through this. Why I think it might be possible, the reason it feels possible. Latent vampires are vampires not awakened yet. I've done some past code here. So they believe that by getting blood from a vampire, a latent vampire may be awakened into a vampire, which would explain the belief of the virus. Vampires are not bloodthirsty killers. We don't need to go through every little detail, because we're already aware. So apparently a rogue is a vampire who is a bloodthirsty killer, which the last website said that slayers hang out around vampires to keep them from turning into rogues, keep them safe. Vampires have reflections. Others can't stand their... That's me. Too much dysphoria and like... I just wish I was thinner, so... Yeah, if I'm a vampire, I'm one of these. Vampires are not members of the rising vampire lifestyle. Well, see, I feel like... I don't have to saying that some do, most do not. I feel like if I was a real vampire, I would want to be part of the vampire lifestyle. I'd want to, like, yeah, I'm a real vampire. I'm gonna dress in, like, cool gothic clothes. I'm gonna whatever. Because why not? Like, I already have a lot of, like, vampire clothes. I'm not gonna try them on today, because it's way too cold today. But, like... I don't know. I wouldn't say just because someone's part of the vampire lifestyle or vampire community, they're not actually a vampire, because it can be both. Vampires do not have elongated fangs. Yeah. Like I said in the last one, couldn't they, though? Like, couldn't you, like, channel, like, a cat or, like, any animal with long teeth and just whatever? Vampires are not necessarily rich. For middle class. The thieves who own the Temple of the Vampire, who... See, that's interesting. That sounds like some drama right here. Like, are there vampire MLMs? Is this going to be about vampire MLMs? Vampires do not live in mansions. Yeah. They don't live in mausoleums or crypts. Yeah, that makes sense. If I lived in a crypt, I wouldn't be able to play Minecraft. Vampires do not necessarily live in households with other vampires. Yeah, I mean, you can, though. Like, the whole reason I started researching this is because I wanted to know vampire hype house existed. Like, it was like... I think it would be really neat to get, like, a bunch of real vampires and have them live together and make, like, YouTube videos. The whole reason I started... In my first live stream I addressed it, the whole reason I started this is I made a vampire hype house in The Sims, and then I was like, wait, this should be real. Vampires are not weakened by Vervain. Okay, Vervain, I actually recently had an experience with it, because I had the potential to apprentice with, like, a master herbalist that lives, like, 45 minutes from my house. And it was looking really good, and then these two different families own this one farm together, and each family has 2 sons. And they thought they would be short-staffed in the summer, so they were going to have me work for them, and they offer classes on herbs and other stuff, and it's really expensive. So the deal was going to be, I'll work for them, and I'll learn everything I would have learned in their class. So even though they won't pay me, I will have gotten information that to them I would have had to pay a lot for. So I paid for the information with labor. But then all 4 of the sons ended up deciding this summer they would come home from college. And because of that, they don't need a 5th boy on the farm. They're like, we have enough hands here. So I'm just going to get a job as a lifeguard instead. But, yeah. Anyway, while I was there, I while I was there briefly negotiating potential working there, I got to be around different herbs and do different stuff, and I actually got to try vervain tea. So, yeah, that's cool stuff. Vampires don't run so fast they blur. They do that in The Sims. Vampires don't feed from the neck. Um, Vampires in folklore originally fed from the chest, like they'd bite into your heart. And the author, I forget if it was the author of Dracula or the author of some book, changed it because he believed feeding from the chest was too sexual. So he changed it to feeding from the neck. And now, I think most people would agree that feeding from the neck is far more sexual than feeding from the chest. Like, if you take your average person and tell them to imagine someone biting them on the neck, they're going to make some strange facial expressions. Vampires can cross running water with ease. It says can. I've never tried this. When my friends and I go out into the woods, I always cross the water way faster than them, and I stand and wait. But it's normally because I'm wearing waterproof boots and they're wearing like dumb tennis shoes. But oh, maybe I'm a vampire. Vampires do not have to be invited to a home. Yeah, vampires do not live off liters and liters of blood. That would be nice. There is a lady on My Strange Addiction who drank a lot of blood. Vampires are colder than the average human. Yep. So my body temperature is like 97.2, 97.4, which is way lower. Well, not way lower. It's lower than 98.6. And in the past, I would go to the nurse at school. I'd say, oh, I feel really sick. I feel like I have a fever. They'd take my temperature and they'd be like, your temperature is actually lower than the average. And then there have been times where I felt really sick. No, now, and then when the pandemic started, that was talked about more so. Like they'd take your temperature before going into work when I was working as a CNA, and they'd always be like, oh, you're really safe to come in because your temperature isn't even 98.6, you know? But yeah, my body temperature is lower than average. And one time I was getting my hair dyed during quarantine. I had them dye my hair black, and they didn't do a good job, so I just gave up. But I didn't give up. I enjoyed my hair, and then when it grew out, I didn't bother re-dyeing it again because I dyed it really unevenly. So I had a lot of patches where my normal hair color was visible. But when I went to the salon, the lady there, she wanted me to take off my mask for the hair dyeing, so she took my temperature before I took off my mask. And when she saw how cold I was, she said I reminded her of this movie, and she described the movie to me and never told me the name or any of the actresses. But there's these like 3 immortal women, and they're alive for a very long time, and like all their organs on the inside are dead, like they're like undead or something. And at one point, one of them has trauma done to her brain, so she needs to be taken to the hospital. And at the hospital, they find out she's been dead for hundreds of years because she had been passing herself off as like a healthy 20-something-year-old, and it turns out she's actually some immortal woman who's basically one of the ways at the hospital they found out that she was a very low body temperature. So mine wasn't that low, but I just think it's funny. We're on a site about vampires, and one time I was out in public, gonna go to the hair salon, and the lady at the hair salon was like, haha, you remind me of this immortal undead character from a movie. So, well, if we're gonna talk about weird comments, besides people commenting on my temperature, people comment on my skin color a lot. Like, people have asked me if I'm anemic before. There have been times where I'll go to the school nurse very sick, like throwing up and doing other stuff, and they'll say, oh, you must be really sick. It looks like you're really pale. I remember one time I got like really hurt in gym in middle school, and I went to the nurse, and she told me to lie down because I looked pale. And I was trying to tell her, I'm not like throwing up. I'm not like feverish. I don't think I need to lie down. I just want an ice pack because I really hurt my arm. Like, I think my arm might have like popped back or something. And she got so concerned she called my mom, and my mom was like, yeah, that's just what he looks like. Like, she called my mom saying like, you know, should I send the ghost home? You know, like, he's really, really pale, like, he looks sickly. Well, my mom's like, no, just like send him back to class. That's what he looks like. But yeah, I'm just sickly pale. So people are always making comments on my body temperature and my skin color, which aren't normal body temperature or skin color for people. Well, I mean, they're within the normal range, but they're on the lower range of both pigment and temperature. They have slower than average heart rate. That's not me. My heartbeat is fast. And they drink blood. Yeah, okay, where's the... What was I going to read about? The vampire. The virus. Yeah. What's the proof that it's not a virus? Pardon. Right, so saying that endogenic retroviruses are what vampires who believe it's scientifically based and not religiously based, that's how they explain vampirism. So they're tying it into the Mayan calendar of 2012, which was not brought up at all in the last website. The viruses don't need nourishment, which again only debunks the claims here, not the claims on the other website. It's not yet 2012. Okay, well that's a little bit dated, because since then it's been 2012. It spread so widely everyone would have it. Yeah, that is true. I agree with this third comment. If it could spread between other people, like sexually, if I guess two people, they'd have a kid. If one of them had it, the other one would have it, and the kid would have it. And then if they have another partner, if the kid has a partner, eventually it'd cover the whole world. But let's say it can't spread through saliva or any bodily fluids. It can only spread through blood. Then I feel like not everyone in the world would have it already, because there. So if it's a virus like AIDS, then yes, everyone in the world would have vampirism if it was a virus. But if we agree by the rules on the last site, which right now here, I'm not saying that this website is wrong. I'm saying let's apply this website's arguments to the last site and see if we can debunk the last site. And the answer is we can't. It can debunk arguments it itself brings up, which I don't know if these are straw men, or if these are arguments on another website I'm yet to review. But yeah, I'd say not hypothetically, even after reading all of this so far, if someone said vampires exist and it's a virus, and they cited the last site, I would say this does not convince me otherwise. This is assuming I believe that the virus is 100% true. This could not convince me to disbelieve it then. See, here, now they're doing strawman, in my opinion. But basically, whether or not it's a virus, I feel like because they were saying that people use the virus to fight the things that it's religious, makes me think they're going to give a religious explanation for vampires. And it'll be nice to have options. It'll be nice to hear both how it can be explained scientifically on the last website and how it can be explained religiously on this website. The V5 virus. I thought it was called VHERV. I don't know what this is. This is probably what they're arguing against up there, which I've never heard of. Oh, this is a gene. Okay. So basically, the gene they're referring to causes gills, and we don't have gills. Well, genes can do more than one thing, but I do agree that if the gene is no longer in humans, which they say right here, then it isn't that gene. The last website we were on never once mentioned the Harbinger 3DR gene. This just sounds like stuff I had to learn about when I researched CRISPR. Yeah, gene science is really complicated, and people are still figuring it out, just like allergy science. Allergy tests, gene testing, all of this. It's a science that's still currently evolving in the modern day, and I feel like by the time I'm dead, people will still not understand it very well. Either genes and allergies, so yeah, these websites have changed a lot since I was 12, and they're going to change a lot more in the next 6 years, so Oh, cool. So the vampire virus comes from a TV show. To be fair, something can be shown in a TV show, and then later on... Oh. Okay. Something can be shown in a TV show and be true, though. Like, maybe... I'm not saying the vampire virus is real. I'm just saying is... I wouldn't say, hey, here's a TV show about the vampire virus, which means being a vampire isn't a virus, because if it was a virus, why is there a TV show about it? It's like, I don't know, why not? So when it says thoroughly covered here, I don't feel like it was very thorough. I feel like it debunked arguments that hadn't even been brought up on sites that I've seen yet, which I might see them in the future. But as of right now, it's just... latent vampire. We'll read about latent stuff later. Alright, here, let's read about the Temple of Vampire, because I want to know if there's vampire MLMs. So they say that in order to be a vampire, you must buy their book. That's already scummy, and it reminds me of college teachers that are like, in order to pass my class, you must buy this book that I wrote. It's $200, you know? So then they want you to buy a second book. Yeah, this sounds like an MLM. But it also... $20, and relations. On top of that, they want you to buy a third book. Yeah. This does sound like... This does sound a bit like an MLM. Or, not an MLM. This just sounds like a scam. But college also sounds like a scam. Like, when you create a society built on capitalism, people start doing immoral stuff to get money because they need money to survive. And it's unfortunate, and I'd say a lack of morality is a side effect of being in a capitalist society. I hate capitalism. Anyway... They sell expensive jewelry. To be fair, buying jewelry is a choice. Yeah, I own a little bit of jewelry that I wouldn't say is expensive, but it's more expensive than other stuff. Like, I have, like, a ring that costs, like, $15, which is more than I'd normally spend for a ring. I have this ring that's, like, $12 that I wear all the time. Which acts expensive for me, because I normally have jewelry given to me as gifts. I rarely buy jewelry myself, and when I do, it's usually quite expensive. So... quite expensive. It's more than $5. I don't know. My ideas of expensive are weird because I have the mind of a kid. So, yeah, this all sounds outrageous. To be fair, it sounds like they're a corrupt cult, but basically it's like, even if they aren't a cult, even if this is all biased, I still feel like, yeah, asking for money is scummy, but there's that in every community. Like, just like in the vampire community, there's also mega churches that ask for money so they can get gold-plated toilet seats on their pastor's 7th private jet, you know? Like, humans are greedy. Vampires are greedy. And it's unfortunate, but that's just... Yeah. This episode of the podcast, this episode of the live stream is just me ranting about how much I hate capitalism. Let's talk about types of vampires, because the last website was very judgmental to types of vampires that weren't sanguinarians. So this one, I'm hoping they'll be a little bit nicer about it. Doing a little dance, waiting for this site. Okay. So there's Psi, which is spelled two different ways, hybrid, and sanguinarians. So Psi vampires, assuming that's short for psychic, this is due to them having a leak in their aura that causes them to constantly lose energy. Okay. Psis aren't really vampires, they're humans who've convinced themselves they have a leak. I agree with that. That's why I was saying being a psychic vampire is a choice. I don't think people have a leak, but I think some people expend more energy than they can get in, and that often comes from doing energy things. Like, I'd say an average human, they get their energy from the sun, from what they eat, and from having fulfilling relationships, and then they spend it and they get it back, and it's fine. if you start doing witchcraft and occult stuff, you're gonna start intentionally gathering up your energy and then like sending it all out to do something, and then you're physically drained of energy. So I feel like a lot of people become psychic vampires as a choice to cope with energy loss from witchcraft. Because I've said in the past I have taken people's energy, and it was literally that. It's like, oh, I just did a ritual and I'm tired, so I'm gonna steal someone's energy. So yeah, I agree. If we're gonna define vampires as like drinking blood and stuff, I'd say this isn't. You're not actually a vampire. You're just someone who needs more energy than they have. Hybrid. So hybrids are vampires, but I feel like it's misleading because a hybrid is a real vampire who can also get energy from energy work. So it's like I was saying, being a psychic vampire is a choice. I guess here a hybrid vampire would be a vampire who makes the choice to also be a psychic vampire. Like it would be, I've made the choice in the past to do psychic vampirism. It would be like if it turned out I was a real vampire, I guess I'd be a hybrid vampire because I've gotten. If you're a real vampire, you're a real sanguinarian vampire, and then if you're a hybrid vampire, you're also choosing to zoink some up, zoink up that energy. I mean, if anything I'm saying is offensive or incorrect, and you're a vampire, or you're just someone who's really passionate about this and you want to share your opinion, please let me know in the comments below. Feel free to join my Discord server, and we can discuss stuff in the occult discussion channel of the server. I'd always be really happy to be more engaged with the vampire community. That's why I'm researching it. I really want to get into this. And if the last website is to be believed, if you put all the vampire stuff out there into the universe, it'll come back to you. So I'm hoping by making these videos, someone out there will come find me. Because a lot of people go through the am I a hybrid phase. Sanguinarians, sanguine, like I said, blood. Anyways, in Western blood to survive. So some psychic vampires think that sanguinarian vampires or real vampires just aren't skilled in psychic work enough to. They need blood. Everyone lived in peace until the Psy Vamps attacked. I'm joking, that's what it sounds like. So a lot of psychic vampires are saying that blood contains life force, so sanguinarians who drink blood for life force are dumb, because they can just get it through meditation. And sanguinarian vampires are saying that's not true, we actually do need blood. So it's, yeah. Saying that sanguinarians can use psi feeding, but they also do require blood. They don't need pranic life energy, they need blood itself, which either this website or the last website said it was the red blood cells. It was the last one, because they were explaining that's why people's skin changes color after they feed. The quick summaries are 3 accepted, but these people are just humans. So here is why this website is claiming that psychic vampires are just humans. They don't have physical traits of vampirism. They don't have astral traits of vampirism. Then obvious, energy workers can tell they don't have a leak. So that's why I said I don't think people have leaks. They just put out more energy than they need, so they have to take in extra. Everyone should know that when a person gets excited, their energy rise in an overflow of energy. Yeah, okay. Hybrids. Wait, they defined it up here, now they're defining it again? Yeah, so hybrids need both, hybrid or energy. So that's... So basically, hybrids kind of hate everyone because they think that purely blood people are dumb because they can't figure out how to also get energy from energy, and they think that purely psi people are dumb because they're not dumb, they think they're not real vampires because they don't digest blood. Because last website was saying vampires physically digest blood differently than humans. They gain skin pigment when humans don't, and they can digest more iron safely than a human. So that makes it sound like they're claiming here that vampires are physically different than humans, but when they said it's not a virus, it's spiritual. They said it's a religious explanation. Sounds like this website has a little bit of self-contradictory stuff. Sanguinarians have a physiological need for blood. They need blood to live. They show great potential in the field of psionics, which I'd extrapolate that to say I bet sanguine vampires have a lot of potential in the field of magic, because I do magic. And I say magic, I mean magic with a CK. Witchcraft, I don't mean magic like I can turn this can into a rabbit, you know? Oh, just poured Dr. Pepper on my shirt because I'm dumb. Yeah, whatever. They say, real vampires are never vampire fiction fanatics. I guess I'm not a real vampire, because they said never. They didn't say usually not. Now, obviously, I'm joking, because I believe if you're a vampire, you can read whatever you want, even if it's vampire fiction. But yeah, in elementary school, I read the My Sister the Vampire series. In middle school, I read the House of Night series. Last year, I read Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire. I am a huge fan of vampire fiction. So, if a vampire truly never loves vampire fiction, I guess I'm not a real vampire. No, I believe right here the author's just mad at people who are obsessed with vampire fiction, so they're saying, oh, they're not real vampires, you know. Okay, so they're saying that sanguinarian vampires have greater physical abilities than their hybrid counterparts, which again confuses me. I thought hybrid vampires were just sanguinarian vampires that also draw their energy from feeding. Like, that's why I was saying it's a choice. Maybe my it's a choice thing confuses me. So, because they're saying here that they do have potential in psionics, so I thought it was saying sanguinarians are also. See, this website's just making me think that hybrids don't exist. You either can get energy from blood or you can't. And if you can get energy from blood, you can also get it from energy, but if you can only get it from energy, you can't also get it from blood. I don't know. I'm confused. This website, the way it's defining, these are confusing me. Like, they're showing greater ability. Humans have the least ability. Hybrids have a little bit more. Sanguinarians have the most. I guess, say most sanguinarians do not psi-feed, but they also say that they have great potential to psi-feed. I don't know. This website, I really like a lot of information I've gotten so far. I do feel like, just like how this author was saying in the opening to their website, the introduction, if you show me great evidence for a claim, I'll change the information on my website, but if you don't show me evidence for a claim, I won't. I feel like maybe different people showed this author different compelling evidence for different beliefs on different kinds of vampires, and that author included what they believed from each of those different people, even if it contradicted each other. Which that could be wrong. Grasp psi techniques more quickly than most hybrids. Yeah, so it's saying that they're better at psionic stuff than hybrids, but it sounds like hybrids also. Whatever. Now, it says not to say they don't enjoy it, but they aren't obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with vampire fiction, so I guess I'm not a vampire, guys. They awaken in a world devoid of vampire-related topics, as opposed to vampires who awaken only after watching Twilight. So I feel like because they started this, the whole introduction to the vampire website on this website was talking about the Twilight Plague. Like, they weren't introducing someone to vampires as a whole. They were like, here's what vampires are. But instead of what they are, I'll tell you what they're not. They're not Twilight. I feel like maybe these 2 points here aren't actually about what a sanguinarian vampire is. They're more about how much Zane despises Twilight and Twilight fans, which I personally don't like. Early Twilight fans, like when I was in middle school, a lot of Twilight fans really bothered me. Now they're great. I look at a lot of Twilight memes on Instagram, and a lot of them are really funny, because with the Twilight Renaissance, now a lot of these people are acknowledging how politically and socially regressive Stephenie Meyer, the author of Twilight, was, but they're still appreciating the characters. And there are a lot of cool characters in Twilight. Like, I really think Alice and Jasper are really cool. Jasper's the yeehaw guy, I think. If he's not, I like the yeehaw guy, like the guy from the South, and then I like the cool vampire with like the bisexual haircut. Those are my favorites. So, I don't know. One thing is, like, because this website, they obviously wrote this before 2012, because they said 2012 hasn't started yet. Oh wait, this page specifically is from 2016. Yeah, I think the Twilight Renaissance was during quarantine, so yeah, this would be before it. Yeah, in 2016, I also hated Twilight fans, so I get this, but I feel like this isn't defining what a vampire is, it's just defining what a vampire isn't. They can contact spirits, manipulate energy, and understand the world around them. And then they compare it to paganism. Yeah, this website really focuses a lot on religion, where the last website didn't really focus on religion at all. I learned very quickly witchcraft stuff, but I didn't continue that pace. Like, in my podcast, I talked about how I've been practicing witchcraft for 9 years, and I learned about witchcraft and spirits at a very young age, and it came very naturally to me, and I was able to get through it fine. And yeah, I do feel like, and I've had people much older than me ask me for advice on witchcraft, on like amino and other stuff. So I do feel like I've learned about that faster. But is that from vampirism, or is that just some people latch on to ideas better? I don't know. Just I feel like any human, vampire, anyone can do these things that I've just highlighted, whether or not they're involved with religion. But religion might speed it up, or whatever. Once again, they're saying most psychic vampires are punk and goth and emo, and I don't know if I'd be considered any of those three. I call myself emo. I think most people probably wouldn't call me emo, though. But whatever. Yeah, vampires come from all walks of life. That's definitely true, especially if it's a virus, which I know this website doesn't think it is, but anyone can catch a virus. Yeah, to me, this guide was kind of confusing. Did it help me understand each group? It really just reinforced some stuff the last website said and then made it more confusing. But I might just be slow. You know, I get confused easily. Here's vampire lingo. Maybe this will make me less confused because I'll know, like, what all the words people are using mean. Also, I can't believe it's already 1 p.m. I have, like, a lot of work I'm supposed to do today, like, for a bunch of different classes. So I might stay up late tonight and do it all, and then tomorrow and Sunday and do it all, because I have a lot of stuff due Monday. But I don't want to do my work right now. I want to look at vampire stuff. So the hardest part of awakening, people don't think about terminology, but it is challenging. Yeah, I agree. Same with getting into any hobby. Like when I would get into like knitting, people would talk about like the warp and the weft, or maybe that's sewing. Whatever. Basically, anytime I learned any new skill, I'd go online to a forum and I'd be like how to cast knitting off of a knitting needle, and they use 20 words I've never heard of before. I have a book on like needlepoint for like embroidery, like my hat, and the book uses a bunch of words that I had to Google. So yeah, I'm very grateful for this vampire lingo tab, because any subculture, be it artists or vampires or anything, use a lot of words that most people probably don't know. Autovampirism, autovampirism, that's drinking your own blood. I think most people would know that. I think most people have done that too. Like when you get a cut, it's instinctual to just go. Awakening, you read about that on the last site. It's transitioning from human to vampire. Well, no, the last site said it's when you are a vampire and you don't know it, and then you realize it. So this actually is a different one. This typically occurs at a point between 2 years prior to the onset of puberty at the age of 22. Okay, well, I've been obsessed with vampires since I was in elementary school. So if I became a vampire if I awakened and like transitioned from the vampire, it would have technically been between that time, probably. Whatever. Awakening vampires only grow with physical change and mental change. Yeah, I've been told before that the way I behave and logic and think now is nothing like the way I acted as a kid, to the point where it seems like I'm just a completely different person than I was as a kid, like mentally. When I say, people who tell me this are adults who've known me my whole life. So, yeah, I'm not saying I'm a vampire and I've awakened, but yeah, people might say I've technically awakened because right now I'm a different man than the man I was born as. I'd like to believe I'm nicer than I would have naturally turned out. The Black Veil, it says 13 rules to live by, which the last website criticized and said it's for role players. It talks about communities persecuting violate. That sounds like a cult. I don't like that one. Blood Bar, they're clubs that serve blood. They talked about them last site. They also sell alcohol and non-alcohol, but because they serve alcohol, I bet I could not get into one. Like, I bet if I wanted to go into a blood bar, which I googled it, and there's like one in the whole state of Kansas that I could find. So, Basically, if you're a real vampire in Kansas, I'm 18 right now, in 3 years, you might meet me in real life. If you're watching the stream right now, I'll see you in 3 years. Because I'm going to go check it out once I can, because I am very curious. So, I'll see you all in 3 years, guys. Assuming it doesn't close, or new ones don't open within the next 3 years. So, blood bonds are debatably existent, and it's pledging yourself to another or to a group of people. Sounds a little bit like hand fasting, like pledging yourself in marriage for the other. Sounds neat. So you get to join a group, and you get to like mix your blood, which I guess according to the other people would give you the powers of everyone in the group, because through super infection you'd gain their abilities. So that's website in middle school said you'd gain the abilities from, like, depending on whose blood you consumed, you'd gain their abilities. I didn't see that on today's read through, which makes me think they changed that part during the last 6 years. So either they no longer believe it, or they took it down for some other reason. That'd be neat if you're part of a really skilled coven and you join and you do a blood connection. Not only are you then spiritually connected, but you'd also take on their positive attributes. Bloodletting, you let your blood out. Covens are just groups of vampires, yeah. Donor, people you drink from. Smart vampire will be tested for SC. Yeah, that's why I said earlier, I think in my earlier stream today, that I would not want to drink someone's blood. Like, a stranger's blood. I don't want STDs. That sounds scary. Empathy. Yeah, I have low empathy because I have high empathy for animals. I have low empathy for humans. Feeding, yeah. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Haven. A lot of these are natural. Like, all of these words are exactly what you think they would be. Incubus, a sexual vampire male. See, in my personal religious beliefs, an incubus is a spirit that is non-human. And these people are saying that vampirism, you transfer from a human to a vampire. I don't think it's possible for a human to transfer into an incubus. That is my own personal opinion. If you consider yourself to be an incubus, in the comments, tell me that. Talk to me about it. Otherkin. I know about otherkin. They're people who identify as supernatural beings. I identify as a ghost and as an alien. So I am otherkin. Now, I'm wondering what these people would think about vampirekin. Do they think those are real vampires, or would they say that that's a poser? They're not sharing here. To me, this doesn't sound judgmental or endorsing. It just seems like a statement of fact. Psi, yeah, this also doesn't seem endorsing or statement of fact, but then they sounded really against Psi vampires in their descriptions. They were saying, like, Psi vampires are humans who have convinced themselves they have a leaky aura and they don't, and they all are emos who watch Twilight and read vampire fiction. I'm not saying Zane was being mean. I'm sure Zane is just stating patterns that they have observed. Like, wow, every psychic vampire I've ever met does this. And also, I look at things through my lens. Other viewers at home might look at the same website and think, hey, Ghost is being overly judgmental. Psionic manipulation of energy. Psionics manipulating energy. Yeah, this all makes sense. We already covered what a rogue was. Vamping out. Yeah, okay, on the last website they called this going psycho, but it's when a vampire needs blood and they need it so much they flip out and they harm someone, which that's the last website was saying slayers will hang out with vampires and give them blood to keep them from vamping out. Okay, so here they say a slayer can be human, vampire, or otherkin. So a vampire, I guess here they call it a vampire hunter, which the last website said hunters and slayers are different. So by this definition, the last website, a human slayer would be a human who's a strong energy worker who takes care of vampires. A vampire slayer would be a vampire who takes care of other vampires. And then otherkin, which now it seems like they're endorsing otherkin here. Pardon, I feel very sick. They're saying that maybe an otherkin person, like me, maybe a ghost or an alien, could try to help take care of it. I'm not saying ghosts and aliens are the only otherkin. They're just, that's what I am. To take care of some vampires. That's cool. irregular capitalization, saying anything with irregular capitalization serves as purpose. The following example: if you just look, it's obvious where they are. It says if you just apply your ability to see or sense the worst people entities, it's obvious where they are. It's quite obvious. That makes sense. Yeah. So if you capitalize look, it means using your special psychic senses to see, where if you don't capitalize look, it means using your eyes to see. That makes complete sense. Seeing, hearing, smelling. Yeah, so all of these are capital. So I had another movie like image play through my head. So here's this long thing, and then they shortened it by capitalizing it. Which, yeah, I like that. I like this capitalization. Says I already capitalized things like erratically in my sentences, and now it's going to get worse because I'm going to start applying these rules. I already used the German capitalization rules, so now I'm going to also start using the vampire capitalization rules, and no one's going to know what I'm saying. So we have the lingo down. So this prequel said awakening is transitioning from vampire to human. The last website disagreed, so let's see. What other information do they have here about awakening? There's a dog in my yard. My neighbor's dog got into my yard. I'm going to let them recover their own dog. Hasspot fake sites. What's this? Okay. So these are just awakenings of other people, and then they have the awakening, and then they have this person's awakening. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at these two. I don't want to be disrespectful at all to Saravati or to Zane, but I don't really care. Just like how I skipped through the Stephen's personal letters on the last site. I'm not here for a life story. I'm here for vampires. Let's learn how to spot some fake sites. Watch it call the site we just spent like over an hour on fake. Because I think there's beef between these websites, because they said vampirism isn't a virus, and the other website said vampires shouldn't be eating yogurt. Speaking of eating, I'm about to force myself to eat a little bit of food. If seeing people eat disgusts you, just look away for just a second. Okay, I'm done eating. So, they're saying is like later on it's really easy to tell the difference between a good site and a bad site, but right now when you're new to the community it might be hard. And since I'm very new, I'd actually only ever seen the last site we were on before. Let's see, have I been bamboozled? I keep hearing stuff, sorry. So word usage. So role players use these words very often. They have this list of words. I'm not going to go through them. I'm just going to assume if it sounds like people are LARPing, it's fake. Examination. Are they selling things? Yeah, I guess if someone's trying to make money, it's probably a scam. Do the owners appear to show respect to their followers? Yeah, I guess, but respect doesn't... Just because someone's rude doesn't mean you shouldn't believe them. Like, I personally consider Neil deGrasse Tyson to be very cocky, and I don't personally like him. But I believe that what he says about science is correct, so, yeah. Do they seem to value the opinions of those who believe them? To me, that doesn't show about credibility. You can not care about how other people see you and be credible. Like, my dad has made it very clear that he does not care how others see him. And if others think he's dumb, he doesn't care because he knows that he's smart. He's a college professor, and he gets told by his students' parents, like, why did you give my kid an F? You're dumb, blah, blah, blah. And he just lets it roll off of him, So I feel like a lot of emotionally mature individuals don't value the opinions of others because they've learned that the opinions of others don't matter. And it doesn't mean they're less credible. By the way, how out of the way would the owners be willing to go to meet a request? In my opinion, again, doesn't really show credibility. It just shows if they're generous. Do they seem full of themselves? That is a good example, because I feel like a lot of people who seem full of themselves believe that they know more than they do. It's like, I forget the name of the phenomenon, but it's that phenomenon. It's like when you're new to something, you think you're the best at it, and then as you learn more, you realize you're not the best, and then you actually do start to learn more and you get better, but you don't know it, and then at the end you're better and you know it. It's called like the 4 stages of learning or something, where there's unaware ineptness, aware ineptness, unaware excellence, and then aware excellence, or something like that. Do the owners seem realistic or mentally someplace else? Well, though I think that is good, that is a good, though I think that is a good way to determine things, if someone seems delusional or not. With this last one, it makes the last website feel more credible than this one, because the last one talked about science, where this website said that it's a spiritual awakening, and if it happens to people who don't like Twilight, it's a legitimate vampire awakening where they transfer from human to vampire. Or if it happens to someone who does like Twilight, they're a poser. So, we'll see. So far, I really do like this website, though, because in my opinion, it's providing more information than the last website, but it is a little bit confusing to me. Let's read about the awakening and see if that helps my ideas about awakening. C'est la vie. Such is life. I don't know why it keeps showing that, but yeah, life just be that way. What is it? Is when a vampire becomes aware of his or her nature. Okay, so it's not a transition from a vampire to human, which was earlier claimed on this site. This site is making it sound like it's the same as what the last site thought it was, so maybe this site, like I said, maybe more than one person was updating information on this website, and when it contradicts each other, the stuff that agrees with the last site is true, and the stuff that doesn't. There's when you wake up, you're first in mindless actions doing things without realizing, but once you awake, you do things while thinking. I don't really get their analogy at all. Like, this is like before you awaken, you do vampire stuff and you don't know it, and after you awaken, you do vampire stuff and you do know it, which again reminds me of the last site, and it contradicts stuff said earlier on this site. How long does it take? Awakening happens in multiple stages. So the first stage is awakening, take from 2 weeks to 2 months, and it can involve having communication with a vampire. A vampire, if they're often around, does not reveal themselves. So being around a vampire stirs it up. People can awaken after being in a relationship with a vampire. If a vampire kisses. So basically, if you're around a vampire and you are a vampire and you don't know it, you might awaken from being around them. But if you're like making out and doing stuff, that'll up the chance you awaken, because I guess there's more contact. You can also awaken without a catalyst. Okay, well, by this logic, when I was 12, going on like, I haven't eaten. So when I was 12 and I went on the Real Vampire website the last time, that could have begun like an awakening. Hypothetically, I'm not saying I am a vampire and it awakened me. I'm saying is, according to these definitions, if I was a vampire, going on that website could have awakened me. If when I was 12, I was a vampire. Vampirism is of the soul. Okay, so they're claiming it's a spiritual thing, when the last thing they're saying it's a genetic thing. Reincarnation is real. All vampires are reincarnable. Some humans do as well. Things. Okay, the way they're defining reincarnation is different than what I personally believe about reincarnation. So if you have a vampire soul and you're reincarnated, you're living as a human until your vampire soul fully realizes itself within your body. And it normally does that in puberty and when your spiritual seals fade away, which I have tried to fade. I've tried to get rid of spiritual seals on my body, and I've gotten rid of a few, but not all of them. And I have a friend who removed all of his, and then his life got way better. So I'm working on it, guys. Awakening is part of the realization. It's also the time in which the soul and the body become one. Maybe after I get my surgery, I'll suddenly start showing all these vampire characteristics, because I won't have that separation between my soul and my body. When I remember most memories, even recent ones, I actually see them in third person. Like I see them like I'm up behind my head watching. And when I dream in third person, and it's because I really don't feel like I'm in my body. because my body isn't my body, it's a body, and it's a wrong body, and that's why I'm transitioning and other stuff. So, let's say hypothetically I am a vampire, and I started to spiritually awaken at a very young age, like 8 or 12 or something. And then, like, seeing the vampire stuff on YouTube awakened me, and I found the sites that did it. And the whole reason why I've never finished my awakening, I've never become one with my body, is just because of dysphoria. I'm not saying that's the case, I'm just saying it's based on what I'm reading here. That could be one hypothesis to why I answer yes to the majority of both of the questions on both sites. But I still myself am like, I don't think I am one. Like, I don't know, maybe once I finally feel safe and happy in the body I'm currently in, maybe once I finally feel safe and happy and I cure my dysphoria by taking enough hormones and getting enough surgery, maybe then I'll awaken as a vampire. That'd be cool. Instead of my Grow a Bigger Heart Challenge series, I'll just make some YouTube video about my health where it's like, update on my health. I'm a vampire. I was this whole time, just the trans stuff got in the way. Sorry, I'm looking in the yard again. Like, coping with vampirism. If I am a vampire, let's see how I should be coping. Which, again, I am not trying to disrespect these site owners or real vampires at all. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all. When I'm joking, like, oh, let's see if I'm a vampire, let's see what I should be doing, I really do mean it. It's like, if I am a vampire, what would this site recommend I do? So I'm going to read it. So, okay, for coping, it just shows you how to get blood. I'm not going to talk about blood bars, because like I said, I'm a child. I'm only 18. I can't go to a bar. So let's read blood substitutes, which is how I found this website in the first place. Because the last website mentioned yogurt, I was like, what, vampires and yogurt? Wow, there's a lot. Okay. Okay, so rare or medium rare steaks. I love that. Fruits and vegetables. I love fruits and vegetables. V8 Fusion. I've only had V8 Fusion once, and it sucked. It literally made me puke. Oh. Alright, they're saying not vegetable juice, the kind of juice flavors. I've never had that. I had V8, and it was like carrot and tomato and celery, and I could not stand it. Late blue Gatorade. My doctor said I shouldn't have Gatorade, so I drink Propel, and I drink grape flavor. But when I used to drink Gatorade, my favorite flavor was Fruit Punch, which is red. My favorite Monster Energy drink is light blue. I don't know. If you're a vampire out there, what's your favorite energy drink? What's your favorite soda? And what's your favorite Gatorade? Comment down below. My favorite energy drink is Blue Monster. It's actually red, though, if you pour it into a cup. My favorite, sports drink is Propel Purple. No, Propel Grape. It's actually clear. And then my favorite soda is Dr. Pepper. If a lot of vampires out there like Dr. Pepper, I'm going to count that as another sign I'm a vampire, because I love Dr. Pepper. Meditation. I meditate all the time. I love it. Being healthy makes you feel healthy. Nice. Exercise. Yeah, I'm supposed to be doing exercises. I have a surgery coming up in a week and a half, and I've been supposed to be doing exercises for the last month, and I haven't been doing them because I'm lazy and I'm bad, so oops. Alright, so Zane really likes pomegranate juice. I've never tried pomegranate juice, so I might want to try that, because Zane says it's really good. Sigh feeding. Yeah, I do that. I steal people's energy. Chocolate. I love chocolate. Chocolate milk. I love chocolate milk. If you go to Kroger or like Dillon's, whatever y'all call it, they have a chocolate caramel milk with sea salt. And last time I got a surgery, my family bought me some as a treat, because when you're on surgeries, it's usually advised that you focus more on liquids and less on solids. And basically, I drink a lot of chocolate milk. I drink a lot of chicken broth. That night, because like I said, I recovered quickly. That night, I was like grabbing and moving around and like getting up out of chairs. That night, I think they gave me mac and cheese. They either gave me mac and cheese or soup, and whichever one they didn't give me, I had the next day. Because I was super healthy, so they just gave me soft, solid foods. Yogurt, I rarely eat yogurt, but when I do, I love it. I like to put yogurt in a bowl and then mix like Cheerios or granola into it. Red wine, I'm too young for that. This, uh, no, I don't do that. Sorry, I don't do that. Fresh pineapple, yes. Okay, I love pineapple so much. Just like how sometimes people buy me chocolate milk as a treat, sometimes my family buys me pineapple juice as a treat because they come in these little metal cans, and they're so good. And one time, okay, my grandparents are like super doting over me. Like I'll go to their house, and they already have a bunch of food in their house, but then they'll ask me what food I normally eat, and they want to go out to the store and buy me the food I normally eat. And I tell them no, I'll just eat what you already have, and they keep insisting. They keep insisting for me to allow them. They keep insisting for me to allow them to dote on me and give me what I want. Sometimes I was over at their house and Grandma's like, "Oh, come on, tell me what fruits you like." And I was like, "I like pineapple." So she bought me an entire whole pineapple, which I'd never had before. I've always had like cut up pineapples from like a can. So she took out this like pineapple like cutter gorer thing that like it spins it in a circle and it gives you these like thin like circular ribbons of pineapple, and I ate them. That's probably the least making sense story I've ever told. Just basically, I love pineapple so much. My family members have bought me pineapple as a treat because they know I love it. Okay, the pennies one. When I was a kid, I had this jacket that had like the zipper on the jacket tasted like pennies, and I would put the zipper of the jacket in my mouth all the time, and then I'd wonder why the other kids judge me. It's like, yeah, because you're chewing on your jacket. But yeah, I like that. I love this. I love this. I had orange juice like yesterday. I love this. I'm not saying I'm a vampire. I'm just rating blood replacements based on how much I love them. Red Gatorade, I love that. I've never mixed it with these. Should I make a YouTube video where I try out some vampire recipes? Like I make blood substitutes and drink them and review them based on like taste and texture. I would never do this. I don't want to eat a rat. I don't think I've had chocolate syrup since I was a kid. I personally dislike ketchup and tomato soup. I think both of them taste disgusting. But then I like salsa and I like pasta sauce, so I have a love-hate relationship with tomatoes. I love these. I've never had Tabasco. I know it's just a brand of hot sauce, but I've never had it. The one time I had hot peppers, I made me throw up. It was at a friend's house, so if he's watching, he'll know exactly what time I'm talking about. Yeah, I drink this. I've never heard of this. I don't eat Jello. I drank green tea earlier today. I drink this all the time. I eat this all the time. I think I had beef liver once. I eat bananas a lot. Like when I was a kid, I'd crave them, but they make me physically sick. They make me throw up, and they make my dad throw up too. When I was a kid, I loved them so much that, like, for my birthday, I'd ask for a banana cake. And what my family would do is they'd take a banana bread recipe and just cook it in a cake-shaped container and frost it. Sugar, everyone likes sugar. Everyone likes cinnamon. I love cinnamon. I've never had this. High pulp orange. We already discussed that, right? Where is it? Yeah, we just discussed it here. Smoothies. I rarely have smoothies, and I usually puke when I have them. I have seen this word before. I think it's a blood soup from Eastern Europe. It's blood wine, which again, I'm a kid. I can't have that. I love cheese. I ate cheese a few days ago. I love cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, but you take a Lactaid and just start eating cheese. Milk. I don't like milk. I don't think I've ever had Kool-Aid. I love tea. Once again, this is a recipe that I would be happy to try. Like, just like the last recipe. I might do a video, maybe a live stream, maybe a video where I try out some fake blood recipes and I rate them on like how much they look like blood, how much they taste like blood, how they make me feel after consuming them. Because whether or not I'm a real vampire, maybe someone out there wants to hear my opinion on blood. And, if you're a vampire, you can watch my video and see. I love apple cider. And just a syrup. That can mean anything. That could be simple syrup. That could be chocolate syrup. No, like tuna. I forget if it was this live stream or the one I did this morning. Oh, looks like I'm buffering a bit. Let me check YouTube. No, I still have an excellent connection. Wait. Yeah, I love tuna so much. I crave it. I crave tuna often. That's a big part of why I love sushi so much. Um, I also like tuna in the cans. Like, so I eat it raw and cooked. Right now, just discussing tuna and thinking about it, my salivary glands are acting up, and now I'm really, really hungry, and I want tuna. Even though earlier today I felt disgusted by food. Like, I've been trying to eat this whole time, and I've only taken one bite of it, so I just connected. Let's wait for this little dot to become green. No, I'm not trying to. I'm gonna say no. I'm just gonna wait for this little dot to become green. It's because my family got home, isn't it?